Belle Delphine is a horrible person and terrible, and I hope that she dies for not posting her nudes online for me to consume.
Hot
for free.
fucking take. Coming right out the gate with a blazing take. Hotter than, you might say, bathwater. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's funny, because actually until this, I just thought, like, she was, like, someone that gamer dudes got really weird about, but turns out she's, like, actually kind of shitty from what I understand. I respect the grind, I gotta say, of the bathwater thing.
I mean, it's pretty, her whole shtick is pretty normal. Like, she's got a premium Snapchat, she's got a Patreon. Does she stream now, I think? I don't know if she streams or not, or does live shows.
These days?
Yeah, and I mean, she's obviously capitulating on her values, on her good American values, and is shamelessly selling herself as this, young tween female that is getting money from old men and also 15-year-olds for some reason.
It really fucking amazes me every time that I see, like, unironic gamer shit in the wild, because it's the kind of thing, like, clearly you're the kind of person who's online enough to know that, like, oh yeah, haha, being a capital G gamer and, like, actually conforming to that stereotype, it's like, no, what the fuck are you doing? Get your goddamn life together.
Yeah.
But, I mean, all the stuff is Overwatch branded, fucking all these weird dudes eat it up, it's really, really just astounding that people can exist and live their lives like that.
Does Belle, she have more praxis than you, Bo?
100%.
She's taking money.
Not as much as a helicopter pilot that crashed and killed that fucking coal billionaire. But like right up there. All right, like pretty fucking close.
What's your job, Daddy? I'm a helicopter pirate.
I was gonna say maybe that's why it crashed, because they were assailed by helicopter pirates. Which I'll be right back. That's my fucking screenplay I'll be working on for the next year and a half.
Next on, Bo has 19 screenplays.
I'm that asshole.
I was trying to ask, do you think that Belle Delphine, that she has more praxis than we do because she's just taking money from those chuds and isn't actually giving them anything that they want in return?
Yeah, I gotta say, I think that is praxis overall.
Is gamer girl bathwater praxis?
Sentences I did not expect to hear today.
Yeah, I think, that's what Marx was talking about. He was like, well, how much does a coat cost? Because I need to trade it for gamer girl bathwater.
Yeah, 50 yards of linen can be used to soak up however many gallons of gamer girl bathwater. So,
Yeah. The capitalist does not determine the value of that which we have a right to, that which we all put our labor towards, and that is gamer girl bathwater.
I was with you right until the end there, Marx.
Which actually, no, this would really track, because from what I understand, wasn't Marx like pretty bad about personal hygiene?
Oh yeah, he was pretty bad about personal hygiene. He had sex with his maid. Like, overall, he was a real scumbag.
A real sex pest, yeah. Well, fucking there we go. He'd be the perfect Belle Delphine. In fact, we're renaming the podcast Psychic Delphine Garage.
Oh, God.
Let's get her lawyers on the line.
Oh, no. That is an episode title if I've ever heard one.
Holy shit.
Glad I could do that preemptive title drop. Yeah.
From way downtown.
All the way in downtown.
Too far downtown, maybe.
Jesus Christ.
Dolphin attack.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Psychic Dolphin Garage. I'm Kelton, one of your co-hosts. God, I actually used my last name this time. That's pretty scary.
Yeah, Mr. Business Card over here.
You can find me on Twitter, Reddit, TikTok, other places. I'm at Sex Confetti. Joining me today is my awesome co-host, Zach. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. I am recovering after 4th of July weekend. I celebrated our freedoms really fucking hard. I have not been posting this weekend, unfortunately, but you can still follow me for my week time posting. I'm Shinobi1 Kenobi on Twitter. I'm not sure if we're like ironically putting TikTok handles in here, or if we're like unironically at this point, if we crossed over into the unironic plane yet. But we have our other co-host Bo with us today.
Yeah, I think the TikTok spinoff should just be me like nude lip syncing like really really bottom of the barrel emo music from the mid 2000s. I think that would be the content that people want. Hello, I'm Bo at Schnedwab on all of the socials media. The fuck's up, boys?
Nothing. Now that you have me picturing Kurt Cobain dressed up as Belle Delphine trying to get some random gold from internet strangers. So thank you for that mental image.
Wait, how did that come about?
Oh, I was just thinking about early aughts music and.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah.
I just want like an Indiana emo band from 2003 that's like super goth. I want their music to be lip synced by Bo on TikTok.
And I've got like several different Snapchat filters on. All of them give me bad eyeliner. Also, again, fucking naked as a jaybird. So
That's right. But tastefully so. That's the important thing.
Tastefully nude for sure, yeah.
The real debate will be whether or not your dick is actually out. Is it tucked? Is it just that small?
It's the lighting. It's the lighting is what it is. That's what makes it tasteful.
Like I call it a tuck it to. It's what happens when you tuck it and then you bend it out at the very end so it pops out like a little button much lower than you think it should be.
That's horrifying. I love it.
These are the conversations that I think, ISIS is worried about when they're saying that America is a rotten, horrid hellscape. Like this gives them the validation they need.
Yeah, they're not wrong. I mean, they suck, but they're not wrong.
ISIS streaming NPR on the Google Play Store.
Looking at the demos, like, we are getting really popular in the Middle East, and I'm not sure why. I'm not comfortable.
Just a bunch of hate listens from ISIS, yeah.
We disagree with them, but we can't deny their chemistry.
They're so charming, and also handsome.
Did you guys watch the hot dog eating contest that happened over the weekend on the 4th of July? Or not over the weekend, but on the 4th of July?
Many things, I didn't see the actual event, but I saw some memes about it, so I'm basically well informed.
Some guy, I think his name's Joey Chestnut. He ate 71 hot dogs. And
hell yeah.
Like, Americans don't have any right to ever shit on Japan for being weird in any way whatsoever. When in the celebration of our, national independence, we watch a man just shovel 71 hot dogs in a record amount of time.
I mean, speaking of athletic achievements, it's honestly an absolute feat that the human body can handle that many wieners at once.
It is. If I watch eating contests, I prefer man versus food, where unhealthy man consumes like freakishly large amount of food.
It's a bit of an endurance thing that way, yeah.
Man versus food versus high cholesterol versus father time.
Man versus food versus Taibo fitness, full body fitness.
That's the fucking crossover right there. It's man versus food, but immediately after he has to do some fucking CrossFit routine or something.
Oh, God. I did not realize that the Taibo practitioner's name is Billy Blanks.
That sounds like a fucking Mortal Kombat character.
That's definitely his porn name. Billy Blanks. I think we'll just move on to newsfeed stories, which I don't have a transition from or into, but the transition is, fuck you, here are the stories.
Just like any good news source. Fuck you,
yes.
Here are the stories.
Fox, it's not Fox News anymore, it's Fuck News.
Fox News. Oh, I'd watch Fox News for sure.
How many fucks do I give? None. Fuck you. Here's the next story.
Professional broadcasting right there, Zach.
Ocasio-Cortez and Kennedy III went and toured all of the concentration camps.
Or, detention centers, whichever one we want to call them.
Detention centers if you're a virulent racist.
Internment facilities. They're temporary internment facilities, okay? They're not just prisons that have been used now to...
Prisons for babies, yeah.
prisons for babies.
I really that's too funny a phrase to fucking append to this actual fucking atrocity that's
But
happening.
stop reading from the script of Idiocracy.
You know how they put the immigrant children up for adoption, and then they lose track of them in the system because there is no God or sense of justice in this cruel, harsh world. Do you think that the adoption parents, when they get the form, they're like, okay, well, what type of child would you like to have? One from Guatemala, one from Venezuela, one from just they get to pick. But then, do you think they also get to pick the idea of like normal or free range, like
oh god,
grain fed?
Oh no! Oh,
me checking my Google Maps to figure out where these countries are. Have any of them been vaccinated before?
Oh no, sir! They haven't just been vaccinated; they've been sterilized. So don't worry.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, well, so that's one of the most incredibly fucked up things about it is that's what they do with these kids. They send them off to these fucking adoptive families who, are probably just as reactionary and abusive as the places they came from. These fucking, holding fucking centers. So,
yeah, I mean,
it's all a big cycle of shit. It's great.
Yeah, best case scenario, they view these kids the same way some people view a puppy mill, as like, okay, well, this is a good way to get $1,800 a month from the government. So if I just grab 6 of these kids, I'm pretty much set. So
isn't that the argument that you hear from chuds talking about welfare and welfare recipients?
It 100% is.
God damn,
Yep.
there is no there is no logical consistency across any fucking beliefs.
I would almost say again that they too are reactionary.
Yeah.
Wow, that
everyone
works.
I hate is reactionary.
Everyone I hate is a liberal reactionary. You heard me.
I'm just telling you what Chapo Trap House told me, Mom. So
I have to
aside
quit my
from-
donation because Mom says that I can't call her a liberal reactionary and use her MasterCard anymore.
Mom said I'm not allowed to subscribe to Chapo's Patreon with her money anymore, that I'm going to be such a liberal reactionary that I'm not that, but I got to make my own money. I fucked that
She
up.
said it was either that or the gamer girl bathwater.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Border Patrol budget has gone from $2.6 billion in 2009 to $4.6 billion in 2019. And
Thanks, Nancy Pelosi.
well, yeah.
And Cuck Schumer, can't forget him.
So this is a thriving business, and it's only going up. There aren't any budget cuts coming.
So what was the big stuff that came out from Ocasio-Cortez and Kennedy? Like the big things that they found there were...
Give us the terrifying highlight reel. Yeah.
Okay, I want you to imagine chicken coops in giant industrial farmhouses, and then somehow pack that in even tighter, and that's what you have. You have a bunch of people all crammed into one space. Now, allegedly, a bunch of these photos they were trying to fit everyone into the photo at once, so it comes across as looking a little bit more compact than it might actually be. But on the other side, everyone was also on their best behavior and treating them the best because Congress and photo op people were walking by. So I view that as kind of a, take a penny, leave a penny style philosophy.
Yeah, it's like Chicken Run, but if all of the chickens were in one coop instead of the 12 that they had.
Is that is that the only Mel Gibson movie that will actually age appropriately?
Jesus. Wait, that's a Mel Gibson movie?
Yeah, he's one of the voices.
Oh, God,
Damn.
he is. Okay. Damn, Kelton.
All right.
All right,
Okay, hang
Comrade
on.
Gibson.
No kidding. No. So my main thought is, it's really great that these wonderful people working Border Patrol have been so nice, and there's absolutely nothing they've done to out themselves as scumbags.
Oh, no.
No posts on the internet, no Facebook groups, nothing.
No.
Yeah,
no.
so tell us, Kelton, why is this back in the news cycle again?
Well, ProPublica published the Facebook messages of a secret Facebook group containing 9,500 to 10,000 agents entitled I'm 1015, which is the code to let people know that illegal aliens are in the area and are going to be taken into custody. And these members defend the green line, because you know how every fucking group now has like a blue line, red line, green line type of a
Fast
thing.
food workers have a red and yellow line.
This
Yeah,
is the identity politics
because if
they
they're
told
not-
me about that we were resisting.
Nice.
Now, I should state for the record that if you were to try and look up I'm 1015, the Facebook group is secret, but then they also changed their name to America First X2, like times 2. Then they actually archived the group, and at that point, the group only had about 4,000 members left. So there was a mass exodus of people because, again, stuff was starting to come out about them.
They got outed. Yeah.
Yes, and we'll go into a little bit as to what was actually in the messages in a little bit, but the most important thing to remember is that Border Patrol officials first claimed that they were shocked, that they had no idea about this sort of a group. Then reports came out about them conducting an internal review about this specific group in February of 2018. And they go, oh, okay, well, this is actually the first time that we've really heard about it. Then another investigation by Newsweek, of all people, you know, it's weird, but they did an investigation. They found out that agents had filed official complaints about the group in August of 2016. So this is before the election even happens, okay? And all of this is taking place. So I want people to remember this, that this has all been bad and has continued to exist prior to Trump taking over, okay? This is not a like, oh, Trump derangement, look at how he's emboldened them. This is a systemic problem with the concept of Border Patrol as a whole.
This
Okay.
is my moment for the weekly plug for the FBI report talking about white supremacists infiltrating our justice system and our ABC agencies.
Yeah, it's miserable to think, oh wow, they're actually doing all of this. This is there's no escape. There's no escape. We
Yeah. As much as we say, like, wow, you know, you can't go be you know, if you're going and you're joining them, oh God, who was it that had that take? It was the Gravel team that had that nuclear Twitter take about joining the military. Like, yeah,
Chapo fell, Gravel fell. It's been the entire, you know, leftist podcast community has been put on suicide watch.
I'm telling you, BP Lettuce and Psychic Dolphin Garage charging that second wave dirtbag left.
Nope. I don't like that.
Yep. So, anyways, so he's talking about, you know, how he's going to go into the military because he wants to make change, you know, at a basic level. Like, yeah, that's kind of almost what we need at this point, because those people are joining those agencies to abuse these people.
Well, yeah, and
then there's nobody stopping them.
that ties into the classic debate of, you know, outright revolution and upheaval of a given system or through reform. Like, can you actually salvage it from within? And, you know, that's not necessarily one way or the other for right now as we dive into this group, because this is without a doubt very, very bad. The group had come up with their own terminology for migrants and refugees, and they called them tonks. Tonks. Now, Zach, do you want to guess why they were called tonks?
Is there a country that sounds like tonks in South America?
Oh, no. What if I told you that it's actually worse? Bo, do you want to take a guess?
Isn't that one of the warrior cats?
If only
I don't
it was,
fucking know.
If only it was that whimsical. They are called tonks because that's the sound a flashlight makes as it connects with a skull. That thunk noise.
Good, great.
So these are very normal, very cool human beings that totally deserve the $4.6 billion budget that they currently operate on. One agent posted a video of a large child-sized portion of meat being wrapped in a foil blanket that resembled the Mylar blankets that unaccompanied children are given in Border Patrol custody, and showed that being roasted over an open flame with the tagline, "Little Tonk Blanket Ideas." They also proposed locking immigrants in shipping containers along the border, rounding them up and then just sending them back, or locking them up altogether and leaving them there for other people to find.
Is the audio of me pouring another glass of wine picking up?
Yes, but
it's okay? Good.
It will
But-
be.
No, I mean that's a good thing. It's for dramatic effect.
Okay.
Yeah, let me find an unopened bottle.
Yeah. Chug, 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 chug. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
It's very bad, is what it is.
I mean, I almost like, I'm not shocked. That's exactly what we see.
Oh, it's not surprising at all. Yeah.
That's exactly what I see in Facebook groups of people that are like this. Like, the fact that they're so open about it, they've been this open about it since 2016. The fact that this has been known about since then, and nothing has been done for 3 fucking years is, maybe a sign that the libertarians are right. And, for once in their goddamn lives,
Open borders.
we should listen to them and open the borders.
Yeah. Again, the group may have started in 2016, but this line of thought in no way
Goes way back.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
how can you justify having something like this with people that can say these things, that are willing to perform these acts, whether or not, they're posting is ironic or unironic. Like, people that act this way, when nobody is watching them, how can you justify having an agency? How can you justify giving that agency more money when this is what their public face is?
This racist, sexist, and xenophobic group was full of agents who would mock things like 16-year-olds dying in custody. An agent hit someone with his work truck, and then the comments were full of people praising the agent. And then also a ton of Photoshop of AOC performing sex acts, and then a couple of Photoshops of them expressing a desire to poop into AOC. So
Very cool and normal. Yeah.
yeah, again, all politics is sexual pathology, but that kind of had me stumped. Like,
Yeah. I really like to think I've seen enough dumb shit on the internet that I have built up a little bit of a thick skin, but that combined with the whole broader gestalt, oh hey, this is an actual set of people who are given free reign by the state to abuse children and vulnerable communities.
we are paying
With
for
that
this.
as the cherry on top, also that, yeah, every swipe of your credit card, just fucking, every little bit of sales tax adds to that. So
It's-
cool.
It's just like the conqueror mentality, and I don't mean that in the good way. Like, wake up in the morning, feel like a conqueror, take your brain force. I mean, like the weird, sick thing that we have always done in wars, where even in the Bible, it's like kill the men, rape the women.
Well, yeah, because this is totally a war, as all of these thousands of refugees come in across the border because we were imperialistic and fucking around in their area, and that led to rising gang activity in a completely destabilized country. And rather than investing in building up their infrastructure, because God forbid we can't even fix our own infrastructure, let alone other countries, so we might as well just keep bombing, because are we actually going to ever own up to it? No, never mind. I'm
Look,
cut
I'm
myself
just
off.
saying. I think that if we took away the Department of Defense, and we just gave the CIA control over the Middle East and Asia, that if they were as successful there as they were in South America, that we would be spending less money with better results.
Yep, that's right, because we currently don't have the CIA involved or in control of the Middle East whatsoever. Afghanistan is
Yep.
going just fine.
Nothing to see here. Keep moving.
It's all opium fields. What? Don't worry about it. So
Jesus.
both the Border Patrol chief and the Homeland Security Secretary both have stated that any employee found to have been found in violation of their standards of conduct will be held accountable. But they haven't been for years. And so there's no reason to think that they actually will be now. In fact, now there's a second group that's actually active called Real CPB Nation. And that already has over 1,000 members. So my reaction is, fuck that. Don't fire these people. Okay, you keep them employed, you register them, we get their names, we get their addresses, we get their phone numbers, we send them to mandatory work camps with a cyanide pill tooth if they decide to actually be a hero and take the easy way out, and have a microchip put into the back of their brain that explodes if they do less than 18 hours of hard labor. Put them all into a fucking gulag, make them fix the infrastructure system in these countries that they hate so much, and then maybe that can atone somehow in the karmic sense for this fucking fascist setup that we have for them.
Somehow a gravel 2020 position.
Hell yeah. No, I mean, if anything, the silver lining is that because these people are, I mean, not boomers in the literal sense, but boomers in they're fucking human garbage kind of sense. The silver lining is that their OPSEC sucks so hard that they do this shit openly in Facebook groups. And, I think a large part of it is they're bold, a large part of it is they're dumb, but it's nice that it's easy to see firsthand and have examples firsthand of just how fucking vile they are.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, for a lot of people, this kind of shit is too bleak to believe.
Well, yeah, and the only way to combat it is to either kill Nancy Pelosi and replace her with
Tim
someone
Ryan,
that is
right.
I don't know about that. I was thinking Delaney actually.
Perfect. Yes.
Yeah, or to what's the left wing militias? Just have the left wing militias just march to the border.
Yeah, have them do that. Just be like the Black Panthers were in California.
Yeah. No, yeah. It's just old military vehicles, military equipment. It's just packed full of left wing militiamen that just ride around following the border patrol guys everywhere.
Yeah, just again do the exact same thing that they did before. Travel in pairs. Make sure you're armed. Get the names, badges, and addresses of all of these people. I mean, it's that would be actual praxis. Now, at the very least, since the group made a bunch of jokes about throwing burritos at lawmakers, I think that maybe instead of hurling milkshakes at these fucks, what if we were to just throw salsa at them that had super hot sauce mixed into it? And then, we can watch a whole bunch of people get mad because tomatoes hurt them.
The problem that I can see with that is that if you put Carolina Reaper in someone's eye, they could lose their eye. But
how is that a problem?
Yeah, explain to me the downside again. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah. But speaking of,
this is all satire.
Oh yeah, preemptive. This is satire.
You can't handle spices. Oh yeah, no.
You poor mayonnaise.
Oh, that's right. Oh, poor you. You're blind now because you can't handle a plant. You bitch.
Legalize marijuana.
This wouldn't have happened if you threw an American plant at my face. I'll say that right now.
What's that? You wanted poison ivy? Okay. Me Googling poison ivy feet pics.
I guess just all in all, we have to just be thankful that we gave these fucks an emergency $4.6 billion, essentially doubling their budget with no questions asked. So, yeah, we have Nancy Pelosi to thank for that. It's a wonderful situation that we've done with ourselves.
I love listening to liberals stan, especially JP, stan Nancy Pelosi, and how good she is and how good she's been and all the stuff that she's done. Because at the end of the day, all she's created is an environment where abuses of power keep happening for no reason. It's completely within her ability to rally. It's completely within her abilities to rally the people that have eyes and ears and mouths and can see this and take measures that will stop that will stop our agencies from, I don't know, from doing what they normally do.
Yeah,
from doing their job.
From doing their job.
It's very bad because
doing what they are paid to do.
Me thinking about it. Oh, wait a second, goddamn! Like, no, this is actually exactly what they're supposed to be doing.
Oh, the system isn't broken. It's actually working exactly as intended. Oh, dear God, no. What does this mean? Help me. Why? Why?
Guys, where are the floors?
Yeah, I mean, like, you would think that, for example, kids being locked up in cages, people dying at the border, ICE agents and Border Patrol agents molesting kids, and maybe even this fucking group on Facebook would be things that would trigger the right. Ha ha ha. But instead it was stupid bullshit like an African-American woman was cast as Ariel, or Nike wasn't going to sell a Betsy Ross shoe because it wasn't in their financial bottom line interest to appeal to racists, or that Starbucks asked a cop to leave because someone didn't feel comfortable with a cop because cops have a tendency to shoot people. You know, those are the things that they get mad about. Stupid fucking bullshit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it goes back to the whole fucking problem of, hey, I've decided that I'm going to define my entire personhood around brands, and the fact that Disney has betrayed me, Nike has betrayed me, Starbucks has betrayed me. I'm the most oppressed conservative ever.
I just want to say our direct action that we should take is to on Google Maps just rename all the geotags for those ICE detention facilities as Cosmo Pizza restaurants, and then tell everyone that Pizzagate is real.
Well, it is real. It is. I mean, not that it's not literally real, but please don't take that out of context. I mean, that's the thing. There are systems of power used by incredibly evil people to, take advantage of the most vulnerable people in the world, but because chuds are chuds, and they're so... I don't even know how to fucking accurately describe how out of this world their minds are. Like, they decide, oh yeah, it's this one pizza place in Washington, D.C. that is performing satanic rituals with kids and molesting them and whatever, and not the proven hard evidence of, oh yeah, these concentration camps where they're fucking abducted to, and there's no oversight by these scumbags and shit like that.
Yeah, it's not
astounding.
It's not the out and out agencies that are doing this that we have hard evidence of, that we have shown time and again do these things that they're so scared of. It's for some reason this secret hidden society that's underground and is out to stop Trump from becoming president. Like, it's amazing.
Do you think Jeff Epstein looks at this situation and was like, man, I should have done it that way? That's how you really boost up those numbers. God damn it.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's amazing in this world where nothing is just bald-faced evil. It's all some shadowy conspiracy, apparently.
That the bald-faced
in the minds of these idiots. Yeah, that the bald-faced evil is what it actually is. It's like very obviously a fucked up thing happening that he actually ended up catching charges. So
finally,
yep.
Jesus Christ.
Well, speaking of resisting larger forces that we hate, and I don't remember what the exact line was, but speaking of resisting in general, let's segue into the Hong Kong protests that have finally hit news here in America.
Finally, yeah.
Yeah, the stuff that's been taking place since March, Yep.
Yep. We mentioned it once before because I've seen in my timeline for sure, some pictures of the locations where these protests were happening. But there is actually a giant Wikipedia article, and it is entitled 2019 Hong Kong Anti-Extradition Bill Protests, and it has 200 article links in it. That is an amazing resource that somebody has put together. And it's I've been working through the whole post myself, but some of the big things that happened with the some of the big things in the protest. I don't know if either of y'all want to take it, but I'll just keep going if not.
Yeah, no, please do.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, some of the big things in the protest are that it started in March. This is actually the protesting has been in response to legislation created after a Hong Kong couple went to Taiwan. The girlfriend was murdered by the boyfriend, and then the boyfriend came back to Hong Kong. And because there is not currently an extradition agreement between Hong Kong and Taiwan, the boyfriend is currently detained on money laundering charges because he stole the possessions that his girlfriend had. And so there's not a legal way to charge him for the murder unless he's extradited to Taiwan. And so they're like, all right, cool, we'll make an emergency extradition bill. And the legislation that they made is basically we can extradite anyone to another country that we don't already have an existing agreement with at the behest of the chairman, essentially.
Jesus.
As we know, which it sounds fine. Like the chairman has the ability to extradite someone if they determine that it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not a whole lot to stop that from just happening all the time under the radar. And so that's why everybody's been protesting this, because as we know, there's a lot of history between China and Hong Kong. Their main fears are that anybody can be then extradited to extradited to mainland China and then be tried in their system, which I'm not super familiar with everything that happens in China, but it's touched on in the Wikipedia article. Basically that they don't want to, be that close to forced confessions and just detainment for no reason. I think were some of the quotes like
and I hear that you're forced to watch Rush Hour 1 over and over and over again.
Jesus, how inhumane.
That sounds like a good Friday night to me.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
Rush Hour and Blade. Blade Trinity, the best from that trilogy.
Another hot take.
Yeah, so the protest started out kind of small in March. I think it was like 10 to 12,000 protesters, and right now the latest protest, there was actually one yesterday, I believe. So I guess not the latest, but the last really big one had like 1 million people that marched at it. There have been happening more and more often now police abuse. The police have been acting very American. Actually, there have been several incidents where they've trapped crowds, and then they just launched tear gas into them without proper warning, without making sure the crowd can get out. There was almost like a stampede at a time when they trapped them up against like thousands of people up against a building, and then shot tear gas into the crowd. And they couldn't get out of the little like area, and they couldn't get into the building because all the doors were locked.
Again, very much like American Cops, yeah.
Yeah. And so it's been a mess up and down. The chairman originally said when in 2017 that she, would step down if she wasn't doing her job right. But unlike the British prime ministers, who have recently stepped down, she refuses to because she has said that it would, quote, harm. We're in a very unstable place right now, and if I were to leave, then, I wouldn't be able to see this through to stability, or some other nonsense justifying her idiotic decisions. There have been protests from citizens. There have been several organizations that have organized protests. There was a lawyer protest where I think a quarter of the lawyers in Hong Kong went and stood in front of the city or the government offices for like 3 minutes just silently. Just a big thing because there is disagreements between the legal representatives in the country, lawyers, attorneys, law professionals and whatnot, and the law secretary, I don't know what position that would be. I can't think of the name right now. But the law, the secretary of their justice system basically saying like, well, they don't understand what this is supposed to do. And it's like, we know what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to help us, we're capitalizing this off of this murder, which is good. It would be great if we could, if they could figure out some sort of extradition agreement or treaty, or if there could, they could even, what's been suggested is that they could pass this legislation and then immediately, like, say that we'll pass it and then it'll immediately go away, so that they could basically do a one-time use for it, for this case only. Or they could do it where it's even like a democratic decision, like they just have a vote on, yo, do we want to enact this for a day so that we can extradite this dude to Taiwan? They have until August, I believe, is the earliest that he could get out, because he's already been in jail for 13 months, and depending on how good his behavior is in jail, he could be released soon. So, and hopefully he will not flee the country and get away with murdering someone in another country. So, good reason to take your local congressperson on a vacation to a country that we don't have an extradition treaty with.
Jesus.
So I think that's pretty much it. The most recent protest yesterday was a daytime rally. There's another standoff with the police. There were riot police. Water barricades were set up. It looks like it's pretty much the same thing. Nothing too violent. But really interesting stuff in the Wikipedia article about how it's been organized, about the reactions to it by the government of Hong Kong, China, and other governments. So, and like I said, like 200 links in the whole thing. So there's just it's
good reading. Yeah.
It's very good reading. I'm gonna be watching that for a while.
Personally, I think the most interesting thing about this whole thing is the extent and veracity of mobilization, because it's not just people going out and marching; it's people going out and organizing street medics, bringing umbrellas as defenses for their marches, disabling tear gas, like that one article said. All that shit is incredibly impressive, and all this for what seems like a pretty... And I don't have a full context for the cultural and political situation there, so I can't say it's minor or major or whatever, but for what seems like a not apocalyptic exactly political situation, the fact that people have mobilized like this is amazing.
Yeah.
It's really astounding, the amount and strength of mobilization.
I do think it's awesome that they're protesting something that it almost seems ridiculous, from my point of view. Like, it's like, oh, it's just an extradition thing. Like, I'm sure we'll sort it out later. Like, we could just pass it to get this done. But there are millions of people marching because they do not want to, run the risk of their legal system failing to protect them. When a threat, which is why they want to be independent, when the threat such as, China's notably oppressive legal system is so nearby and so, close to home for them, I would imagine, having friends and family who could have had terrible experiences under that system. I recall specifically during the League of Legends Worlds last year that it was a Chinese team versus a European team, and one of the members of the Chinese teams was from Hong Kong, and he, there was a whole snafu with him talking about how he was from Hong Kong and not China, which is, they very much want to be separate, even though
distinct,
they are, distinct,
but also,
separate but equal.
Oh, jeez.
No. Yeah, they want to be distinct. They want to be recognized as their own place, even though they do operate under, Chinese government. They do have a separate system, and they're fighting very hard to make sure that they don't lose that. We let children get raped at the border, so
yeah, Jesus.
America's just a giant fraternity that's just the hazing.
God, what the fuck are we doing? Jesus Christ.
Who knows?
Yep.
We could really use this as on the border. Would be what I would think, that if you're going to do giant militias, and then if you're going to do giant protests. So if you were to actually have the dreaded caravan that people are worried about flanked and defended by left-wing militias, and that operate in the same way that these Hong Kong protesters were operating from, that could be a truly formidable thing that Border Patrol wouldn't know what to do. Because, I mean, as brutal and as sadistic as they are, a lot of it stems from an inferiority complex. If you were to then beat them on their quote-unquote home turf, I would think that, the suicide rate, which is already high among Border Patrol agents, would actually rise. So,
Hell yeah. I mean, well, yeah, to borrow a Chinese term, they're paper tigers,
I do think that it's going to be much easier for me to take this laying down if I just imagine America as a giant fraternity, and these border agents are just the hazing that you have to go through.
Precisely.
I think it's amazing that they're fighting for something that seems so, it seems so like, oh, what a technicality they're going to get us on, like, and that's what the government is treating it as well, which should make me more suspicious. But yeah, the scale that they're turning out to protest this is amazing, and the government's not handling it very well. So good for them. Sure, I'm glad that we don't have to live under Chinese communism.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, living in super cramped spaces with no real sense of privacy whatsoever.
Y'all have to share the same toothbrush. Yeah.
Yeah. You can be arrested for no reason. You can be stopped on the road at any time and asked for your papers.
Weird. Yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine what living in such a draconian type society.
Yeah, they have a social credit score. Wait, let me credit score.
Yeah. Not like my FICO credit score, which is really different. Because that one is more all-encompassing, and this one just tells people how much money I am worth in terms of borrowing ability. So it's actually more disassociating than the Chinese social credit score, oddly enough.
Yeah, I'd measure my social credit score by how many retweets I get.
Hey, I don't jaywalk. I think my credit score in China would be way better. I'm just saying.
I deserve at least 3 retweets for not jaywalking. Okay.
I hold the door for people. I mean, I'm a real stand-up citizen, all right?
Hey, baby, guess what? I'm a 750 social credit score. You can trust me. How many social credit score bot accounts do you think there would be? Just old people's identities getting stolen by young people trying to run scams?
It's just a Tinder DLC that is the credit score DLC.
Jesus.
Oh my god. Why are we inventing things that will be real in a year?
This new season of Black Mirror sucks.
Well, I mean, the San Francisco PodShare system that they have, it's basically like a dormitory with less room, where you kind of you have your bed with a TV and 2 drawers underneath you, and it's stacked up like 2 high. Did you guys see that video?
Yeah, there's nothing better than not only trying to fucking make a life for yourself in the most expensive cities on the planet, but also living like you're at fucking sleepaway camp while it's happening.
It looks like a homeless shelter, but for rent.
And it costs $1,200 a month. So
Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, like, the other way to view that, for example, would be that's only 2 days in a detention center. So
how many times can I jack off in front of my podmates before
you get kicked out?
The answer is infinite times.
Probably too many.
Because they're not going to rat on each other because everyone's doing that. It's the only way to de-stress because you're spending $1,200 a month, again, like Bo said, on a sleepaway camp.
Yeah, the really wild thing about that article, too, is the way that apparently people are using this as like an impromptu, like, oh, I'm in town on business. Time to hop in. How much is it for a fucking night? Because if it's fucking $1,200 a month, it can't be fucking cheap for a night. They're probably screwing you on that too.
It's all real bad.
Still cheaper than Airbnb.
Just sleep in your goddamn car, like
That's
an adult.
illegal.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
they
God
passed
bless
that law.
anti-vagrancy laws.
Yeah, that's it. That's like $40 a night. Like a cheap hotel is like $50 a night. When I was traveling.
Yeah, you can rent out a parking space for $40 a night in San Francisco. So really live high on the hog.
High on my hog, my Harley Davidson hog daddy.
Oh, well, hey, also, y'all, don't forget that what this CNN business article says. Each pod includes a shelf and a personal television. Food staples like cereal and ramen and toiletries like toothpaste and toilet paper are also included. So, you know, you may be paying $1,200 a fucking month, but at least you can still wipe your ass.
Allegedly, with one ply.
Yeah.
That's all.
I
That's
bet
all
they
it
don't
needs.
even have good ramen either.
Well, y'all know in Stalin's Russia, everyone had to share the same square of toilet paper.
Yes.
It
I saw it in
truly was
Chernobyl.
bad. Yeah.
That was
yeah.
the best. No. They could share it because it was the best toilet paper that had ever been made under any government system.
They
It
took
was
turns
meant to
using
be
the same
It was
square.
the longest single piece of toilet paper ever made. The paper that wiped 1,000,000 asses.
That's disgusting.
Reusable toilet paper.
Oh, another fucking highlight from the article. You have to be willing to share. I think if you're not willing to share a small space with a stranger, pod share is not for you. Again, is this a dating thing? Are they fucking? Like, well, right after that it says, there are some ground rules, lights out at 10 p.m. and no guests allowed. So,
What the fuck?
yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, this
fucking
is,
God.
This is sleepaway camp. This is insanity. This has to be performance art, right? That's what it's got to be. Is like
In a sane world, it would be.
so. What other grifts do you think that we could probably be able to run on some San Francisco types? You know, we have Lyft and Uber, which are reinventing a bus line system. We have people creating again pods to sleep in. So how can we cash in on it? You know, what would be
well,
the thing?
We make a community garden where you pay migrant workers to grow you food in the community garden.
Oh, yes, absolutely. But then in each section of the garden, right, you have it plotted out to be a map of Central America. So then each migrant worker is from allegedly that country. In reality, they're all just whoever they can grab. But, you know, they dress them up in very culturally inappropriate outfits. So that way then school children can take tours around and let everyone see.
Yeah, and then
So-
you say that you eat farm to table.
Oh, no. Well, so my first thought with the renting of just basically you're buying half of a fucking bunk bed for your fucking rent a month. Why not extend that to toilets? Charge them to shit.
Yeah,
true.
you illegalize private toilets because toilets waste more water than any other appliance in the household. And
It's
you
woke now.
Yeah, you have to charge people to use public restrooms.
Yeah,
Which is also a thing that, yeah.
put in like a 50
But it's not a $1,200 a month toilet.
It's the 15 million credit scene where he has to pay the credits to wash his hands and his face, and for toothpaste.
You're going to be at a dive bar and face that horrible situation of where it costs 50 cents to flush the toilet, but the condom still costs $1.25, and you only brought $1.50 with you. So how's it going to go?
A real Boseph's choice.
My thought would be, okay, well, you know, we have all of this extra space in cubicles and in work areas, right? So why don't we just have an employee incentivized program where employees can just, you know, sleep at the place where they work, as well as, you know, get breakfast there and lunch there. They wouldn't need to rent a car. It would be basically a way to where then you could also have auto withdrawal from paycheck, where then in exchange for them working and then living there, you will be covering their food as well as their cost of living, and it would all kind of even out. So, you know, you really convince them, well, all your needs are basically going to be taken care of if you sign up for this company. And no, this isn't just serfdom or corporate slavery. It's something different, because we slapped a
It's very different. Yeah.
yeah.
Very
Because
different.
we have HR's number up around every corner, and you can call them and get a busy tone. But at least you can call them. You have someone to call.
The app actually would just be called slavery, but it wouldn't have the E in it, so then it would look trendy,
I was thinking more it's slavery, but the app is like slaver E at the end. So it's like
Ooh.
it's kind of fun,
Again, it has that like kind of flirty little text to it where you're like, ooh, this intrigues me. This might be worth checking out. Oh, wow, cool. It's a very nice incentive program. I'm glad I got a bachelor's degree so that way I can live this level and quality of life, the same quality that my parents and grandparents had, completely and totally.
Yep, that's the American dream. A fucking picket fence around your top bunk bed.
People don't want to be their own people. People want to have everything done for them.
Yeah, these lazy fucking millennials living in goddamn Depression-era bunkhouses.
Yeah, I suppose you want me to provide your ramen too, huh? Fucking entitled brats.
Well, so that was kind of my thinking too. Is there like a politics in these stupid fucking establishments of who gets top bunk, who gets bottom bunk? Because there's no way there's not. That's a basic, say what you will about human nature being defined by society and all that. But I would say that top bunk, bottom bunk is a pretty fundamental part of who we are as a species. There's gotta be fucking weird power dynamics there.
Again, it's San Francisco. I really don't think you're allowed to just point blank ask who tops and who bottoms, Bo.
Well, how am I supposed to meet my fiance? God damn.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to be an episode for us. San Francisco is a hell world, and it is the thing that we deserve. So,
yeah, sure glad I live in fucking Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's right. Checks now.
Not!
Oh, God.
That's a Borat. That's a reference to the movie Borat.
Alaska's probably just glad that we're not picking on them again this week.
Hey, also, just to squeeze it into the end of the episode, fuck Alaska. There we go. Got it in there.
We almost made it.
Almost.
We almost got our second download from Alaska. They're still actually working on downloading it. It's just taking a long time. Well, guys, okay. Sorry, lost my train of thought. I guess it's time for plugs. So, Zach, where can people find you?
All right. I am on Facebook. I am on Twitter at Shinobi1Kenobi. And those are the two places that you can find me. Because I do not have a TikTok account.
And what about you, Bo? Where can all the ladies and gents find you?
I'm at Schnedwob, SCHNEDWOB on Twitter. If you want some bad takes about game design, I'm your guy. Also, we're working on getting that TikTok set up any fucking day now. Stay tuned, folks.
And unfortunately, you people can find me on Twitter at SexConfetti. Find me on Reddit at that Kelton guy. Holy shit, I actually just got an email. Twitter has unlocked my original account, but... Oh, wow. Okay, actually, you know what? Never mind. We're going to stick with Sex Confetti. It's now an issue of spite, okay?
It's a fun name.
We're rocking with this. So you can find me on Twitter at Sex Confetti. Find me on Reddit at that Kelton guy. And I guess that pretty much does it. Let us know what all stories were on your news feed. Shoot us an email over at psychicdolphingarage@gmail.com or give us a phone call at 512-402-2089. And without further ado, deuces.